have the press release as well in front of me, and they are saying that during the current quarter, they did witness delays in order awards due to deferment of select prospects in the project business, mainly in transportation infrastructure, in heavy civil infrastructure and the power business. And international orders stood at a little over 11,400 crores, and it constituted 27% of the total order inflow. So on a cumulative basis, the order inflow as on 31st December was at 1.2 lakh crores, and it's mostly infra, hydrocarbon and heavy engineering that contributed to the growth in order inflows. The order book as on 31st December, again on a consolidated basis, stood at 2.84 lakh crore rupees, up 5% over the December 2017 position. So it's a reasonable growth over a large base. And again, international order book was at 21% of the total order book. The infra segment, that segment secured orders were 21,900 crore rupees. Like they said, bid deferrals, delay in finalizing awards, especially in transportation infrastructure, is something that did perhaps hit them slightly. But all in all, it seems to be pretty decent. The segment, infra segment, achieved customer revenue of 18,200 crore rupees, and it recorded a margin of 5.4% versus 7.9%. That is on account of, again, the phase and mix of jobs under execution. So infra margins were a bit weakish. The second biggest segment is, of course, the power segment, and over there they had a customer revenue of 905 crore rupees. This as well indicated a decrease. There's a depleting order book in the power, in the power segment as well. I think we have, I think we are being joined by, we have Avan Dabash with us. Avan, I think it looks like a decent set of numbers.
Yes, a very strong set of numbers on the face of it, actually, Mubina. In fact, it's been a beat on the profit front. 2,045 crore rupees is what they have delivered vis-a-vis our expectations of 1,860 crore rupees. The revenue growth as well has come in very healthy. Robust revenue growth of 24% at 35,708 crore rupees. They have delivered an EBITDA as well that has come in as a big beat, 3,996 crores. The margins in line at 11.2%. On the group level, in the quarter gone by, the company has managed to secure orders worth 42,233 crore rupees. There has been a delay due to the deferment of select projects in some of their businesses like heavy infrastructure and power, but despite that, you've seen a growth. Even their international orders have come in higher at 11,454 crores, constituting 27% of the total order book. So that takes the overall consolidated order book up 5% on a year-on-year basis at 2.8 lakh crore rupees, and that's a reasonable growth as well. And given the fact that we're closely monitoring the kind of domestic order wins that the company has been seeing, remember there has been a lot of order finalization within the infrastructure segment. Overseas orders as well have been supported by the power segment, so that was closely being monitored. And I think the street should be pleased with the 2.8 lakh crore rupee total growth. The infrastructure segment has seen bid deferrals, etc. The order book there has been quite healthy. They have registered a growth of 24% in the infrastructure segment, and that has been the key driver. The power segment has seen a little bit of muted growth this time around as well. It's been a decrease of nearly 29%. Heavy engineering, in fact, the revenues have come in strong, very strong by 82%. I believe we have a guest with us right now, Mubina.
That's right, Avan. In fact, we have Arafat from Reliance Securities. And Arafat, just like Avan was mentioning, it looks like a good set of numbers. Okay, we also have Mayuresh Joshi with us. Arafat, Avan will get to you with respect to some internals as well. I just want to flag off, while the top line and PAT looks pretty good, on the margin front, I think one of the mainstay segments is the infra business. And over there, I see there's been a bit of a compression when it comes to the EBIT front. How would you read into that?
Basically, the L&T reported very strong set of numbers, both in terms of top line and bottom line. Revenue grew by almost 24% plus, which is more higher than our Street expectation. And PAT also company reported very strong set of numbers at 2,000 crore. So we look very good set of numbers going here from here.
All right. How are you reacting to that total consolidated order book at 2.84 lakh crores? Do you think that the street will be impressed with this number?
Yes, of course. We are looking at the 5% growth in order book, and the company is delivering on that. So we believe there's very good set of numbers from L&T in terms of both execution, margin expansion, bottom line, and also order inflow and order book.
You know, the infrastructure segment has clocked in very strong growth. The power segment has seen a decrease of 29%. You have the heavy engineering segment, which has seen a growth of 82% on the back of low base. Mayuresh, purely on account of the kind of segmental details that have been given, do you reckon that this sort of a performance could continue given the kind of domestic order inflow that has kicked in?
So two aspects here, One, I think the order flows are very, very encouraging for L&T. The second element obviously is that within the order book itself, infrastructure still has a major chunk in terms of the executable orders. So what is probably happening is that the infrastructure segment execution will continue at a very steady clip. Yes, I think what you've probably seen in terms of the power segment, that might still be a laggard, but I think the infrastructure segment is somewhere which has carried out a huge amount of heavy lifting for L&T. Obviously, the orders which have flown through for this quarter, very, very encouraging as well. So the assumption here is that the kind of guidance that they've probably given, both in terms of top line, the kind of EBITDA guidance that they've given, I think they'll be able to meet that at least for FY19. So I think the management commentary going forward in terms of the landscape, both in terms of domestic order book, the execution thereof, and what probably happens in the international order book stroke hydrocarbons will be interesting and to be watched out for.
Oh yes, indeed. That is very closely going to be monitored. How are you, viewing the overall management commentary? Do you think that that order book guidance of about 10 to 12% is likely to be maintained?
So that's certainly the hope, One, at this point of time. And what they've probably delivered at this juncture certainly seems to be the case this time around. So what they probably indicate in terms of the strategy going forward is going to be extremely critical in terms of how the earnings will pan out. But yes, I think if you probably look at the numbers on a consolidated basis for L&T as well, I think the top line, the EBITDA, the bottom line, I think it's been a very, very good performance in my opinion.
The defense segment, that has been quite favorable in the quarter gone by. The revenue is at about 1,005 crore rupees, higher by nearly 36%. There's been a ramp up in the K9 Vajra artillery gun order. The Evolar international revenue as well there has grown quite smartly. Arafat, do you think that that's going to be a key focal area for L&T as well, and that they will continue to deliver on the defense front as well as ENA segment?
Yes, of course. The company delivered very strong step now in terms of defense engineering, when revenue was up to 1,005 crore versus 962 crore last year. So definitely company is going to deliver strong set of numbers in coming quarters from that segment.
All right. Arafat, Mayuresh as well as Avan, thanks so much for joining in. A good set of numbers from L&T. Revenues and profits above expectations, margins in line. Infra segment has grown very well. The margins, however, over there has compressed a tad bit, and that may be the reason why margins have just come in line with expectations despite a great set of numbers on the top line. Of course, now all eyes are going to be on the press conference, wherein it will be watched out very closely for whether L&T maintains their guidance when it comes to order inflow. Well, we'll wrap it up on this edition of the show, but stay tuned. We'll be tracking the L&T press conference on the other side.